Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you of all things Friday, and well, it's getting chilly out. Uh, Meat prices are pretty much about the same as they had been, and like I said, Friday, December 2nd. So, like I say, meat prices are pretty much about the same as what they've been, and I think we've entered into jerky season. Oh man, I'll be making myself some jerky and getting back into practice because it's been a while since I fired up the Hummy Pot, the Cylon Death Ship of dehydration, and I need to make up a few batches to get back in practice. Also, conversely, I'm going to kick out a batch to one of my buddies, and well, you'll get a crossover video on that one. They'll probably be doing a video response, but I need to get back in practice. It's like anything else. If you don't have the muscle memory and you don't do it a lot, you kind of forget the nuances. You kind of forget the little ins and outs and what have yous. I mean, truthfully, I do still have the dude jerky recipe. I never memorized it. Okay, I literally have it written down. That way, I know for a fact I am consistent because I'm not just going, well, a pinch of this, a splash of that, this, that, and the other thing, bing, bang, boom, and I'll know it off the top of my head. I don't do that. Okay, I put it down on a piece of paper. Why? Because very simply put, even Einstein said the most valuable means of storage medium is the human mind, and he's quoted as saying, and we'll quote it as saying, never memorize anything that you can look up later. So, pretty much, I took that maxim to heart, and I hold true to that as a dyslexic. And my reams of reference materials are such that I have the Dude Jerky recipe written out, stored in several different mediums, including paper, digital, uploaded somewhere, and it's locked into perpetuity that I know I have a copy pretty much anywhere I go if I need a copy. Now, case in point, the actual process of putting it in the Hummy Pot and doing all the rest of that good stuff. I mean, that's all cut and dry, okay? It's not hard to make jerky. It's not hard to run a dehydrator. The nuances of it are such is that pretty much once you get it down to the point that you know, okay, if I put it in here for X amount of time, it feels like this. If I put it in there for a little bit longer, it comes out like that. If I cut the meat this thick, it's going to take that long to do it. And I stay pretty standardized, okay? I mean, yes, I've tried cutting meat thicker. I've tried cutting meat thinner, and the basics. Okay, here's my idea of the basics. Essentially, what you wish to do is you take the meat from the store. Do not make it into jerky immediately. Take the meat, put it in your fridge, let it sit for 2 or 3 days minimum. What's going to happen there is all that juice that's been loaded in there, and yeah, that dirty little secret is they pump their meat. That's right, they load their meat up with juice. That's right. Meat is not red, okay? Meat is actually grayish. Not the most appealing because we're used to seeing red meat. Meat is not red. It's loaded up with dye. It's loaded up with a little bit of saline solution. And they're trying to plump it up. Salt makes water retain in tissues. Okay, so always take that into account whenever you're doing anything with beef. Number one, let it rest for a little while. In a fridge, if you want to go even more hardcore than that, well, you could freeze it and defrost it, but that really tends to make your meat kind of mushy. I would tend not to freeze meat and then make it into jerky later on. The texture just flat out sucks. It's very much like taking hamburger and making hamburger jerky, which is good. I mean, there's no reason in the world why you shouldn't be making hamburger jerky if you got the little squeeze gun and you have the spice mix and you have the little grease gun of pumping and all the rest of the good stuff like that there. Hamburger jerky is good. I've made it many times. Trying to get it lean enough, though, is a problem. You have to get very, very lean ground beef because you don't want to cook out 30% of its weight as simply this big puddle of grease in the bottom of your trays or pouring down into everything else, and that's just not good jerky, okay? Jerky needs to be a very lean cut of meat. That's number one. So number two is you wish to have your meat rested for a while, kind of sitting for a little bit, basically kind of just loses some of the juice. Of course, you have the meat maxi pad underneath going and sucking up all that juice. Yeah, that's what you want it to do because that's its job. It sucks all the juice out, so when you pick up the package, it doesn't go, slosh around a whole bunch of juice. That's just icky. That's why you have the meat maxi pad. So number two, taking your meat out, you wish to cut it with the grain. If you cut it against the grain, it's going to be like a big bundle of garden hoses, and as soon as you bite into it, it's just going to go and just crumble in your mouth like, well, like a potato chip. That is not good jerky. Good jerky, you actually take a bite out of, and you're stripping the pieces off. If you try to bite it straight across, you are wearing your teeth out. Do not eat jerky like that. It is extra hard. What you wish to do is take a bite, strip it off, and that strip that you then have is what you're chewing on, almost like chewing tobacco. It's like meat it's like meat tobacco. That's really what it is. So essentially then is you wish to cut it with the grain. Your thickness, from my purposes and for everything I've seen to find, from thick to thin. If you go really thin, it comes out like a potato chip. It tastes good. I mean, but it's just like, it's the consistency just flat out sucks. It's like a potato chip. If you go too thick, it takes forever for it to dehydrate. The happy medium is about an 1/8 inch thick. So read like a 1/4 inch. If you go 1/4 inch, it's going to take forever to dehydrate. If it ever does dehydrate. And if you do like I do, I put the dude juice on one side. That side will never, ever get dry. It's always going to be partially wet. Your storage life is going to suck. It's going to go bad. It's going to get moldy. It's going to get nasty. And it's not going to be good jerky. Do not do that to yourself. Number three, seasoning your meat. There's 2 different ways to season your meat. What I do is I have my dry rub. It goes on the meat. The meat gets, basically layered, almost like a lasagna. Dude spice, jerky. Dude spice, jerky. Dude spice, jerky. Dude spice, jerky. Until finally the thing is full. Then I put a layer of plastic wrap on top so it stays moist. It has a big Ziploc container. I have like those big Tupperware guys are about, roughly about yay big by about yay big with the big snap-on ones. I have the thin ones and I have the really, really big monster ones. The kicker is with those guys is you have portion control and you can actually do it very, very easily. You can lay your stuff out. Now, the second way to do it, and this one is hardcore. This takes some really good, and you got to be able to make your go. Here's how you do it. You need to have some of this, and you need to have one of these. So what you literally do would be putting your jerky inside of one of these vacuum bags, sealing the edge of the vacuum bag, loading it up with your jerky, which has then been either rubbed or it has your choice of yummies to which incorporate liquid form. Then what you have to do is you vacuum seal the bag. Now, if it's liquid, dude, you are going to be working really, really hard to keep that thing from sucking out all the juice when you're trying to vacuum seal your stuff. It is going to be work. Case in point, if you want to really, really, really work your meat, let's just say it like that, okay? If you really, really want to work your meat, here's what you do. You dry rub your meat, you then vacuum pack your meat, and you let it sit for about a day or 2 in the refrigerator, vacuum packed. Now, why do I say to do that? Well, number 1, it's going to be a sealed, hermetic container. No bougies are getting in there. Any of the bougies are in there are getting assaulted by the salt and the spices and everything else. Back in the good old days, that's how you made mummies. You spiced them up and you put a lot of salt on them, and they're around for a long time. They basically made people jerky. That's how the Egyptians used to do stuff. So, case in point, the dry rub now basically gets hammered into the meat. The meat has no choice but to go, okay, I'll take you in. Please don't hurt me. And everybody basically just goes in one cohesive form. Then you take out your jerky, lay it out on your dehydrator, and normally what I would do, and this is just me, is you put on your marinade. That's just me, okay? I only do one side. If you do both sides, it will take for flipping ever for your meat to dry out. If you do one side, it will dry out. It's going to take a little longer, but you just have to run it for that one side sticking up all the time. The heat's going to be coming down from the top. In my style of dehydrator, the heater/fan and everything is on the top. It's blowing the heat through the bottom, recirculating and all the good stuff like that there. That's how it works. So that's number 3. Number 4, you pull that stuff out. You probably don't want to seal it up in a bag immediately because there's still some residual heat. There's still some residual moisture, and it is going to just go and outgas all that stuff into the container which you put it in. But there's a way around that. Something as simple as a paper towel. And this has been working for me for time immemorial. is I use those gallon Ziploc bags, and what I'll do is I'll put a piece of standard paper towel in the bottom of the bag for one very good reason. Number one, any of the juice that's pouring out of those little guys and is basically now incorporating themselves in, yeah, it's still going to be a little juicy. Now, if that's you use a marinade, if you just use a standard dry rub, no, it's not going to do that. It's just going to be dry. But there's still going to be some residual moisture. So what this guy's going to do is, well, it's very, very hydroscopic. It's going to be slurping up that additional moisture, and it will allow your jerky to stay dehydrated. If you don't, the inside of the bag is going to get like moisture in there, and it's going to not be good things. That's why they've always got those oxygen absorbers in the bags of jerky and the stuff that you buy in the stores. It's a dual purpose thing. Number one, it is mildly hydroscopic, so it's sucking up that little bit of moisture that's still left in the bag, and of course it's killing off the oxygen and not allowing anything to go bad. So alright folks, I'm going to break up with this one. Make yourself some jerky, enjoy your jerky, and of course, if you get a chance to, well, send me some jerky, okay? I will give you a good appraising of how your jerky is compared to my jerky, and possibly, potentially, I might kick you some back. But right now, we're on the first batch of jerky for the year, and I'm pretty stoked. And, of course, some of my Facebook friends are jerky fans. Read like those people over in other countries. One of my friends over in Germany, for a fact, she is a huge jerky fan. I gave her a recipe, and she goes, you know what? That just blows the Jack Links out of the water. I was like, dude, Jack Links is barely jerky. It's easy to get, but it's not good jerky. All right, folks, I'm going to break up with this one. Eat good, keep it sunrise. As always, you know it, you love it. Jerky goodness. Have you guys a good weekend and all the rest of the good stuff like that there. And I will get back to you at soonest opportunity. And I do appreciate your kind attentions. And, well, have yourselves a good time. And I'll talk to you later and good stuff like that there. Eat good, keep it sunring as always, you know it, you love it. Jerky goodness. My stupid phone won't stop ringing today. Ugh. Bad times. See you guys.